Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how quickly your mind focuses on what is missing? Maybe you look at your life and immediately think about the goals you have not reached yet, the success you still want, or the life that seems better somewhere in the future. The strange thing is that the more attention you give to what is missing, the harder it becomes to feel satisfied with what already exists. But what if the real problem is not your life, but the way your mind has been trained to see it? In this episode, you will practice listening to natural English while exploring a powerful life idea. Gratitude is not about pretending life is perfect. It is a quiet, mental shift. Learning to notice simple comforts, small, peaceful moments, and ordinary things that already make life meaningful. And before we go further, let me say something honestly. One thing I'm grateful for right now is that you are here listening and choosing to spend this moment learning and reflecting. With love, let's dive in. Why do people naturally focus on what they lack? The human mind has an interesting habit. It often pays more attention to problems than to peaceful moments. Psychologists sometimes explain this as a survival instinct. Long ago, noticing danger quickly helped people stay alive. Because of that history, our brains became very skilled at identifying what is wrong, missing, or uncertain. Even today, this habit remains. You might have 10 good things happen during the day, yet your mind keeps replaying the one uncomfortable moment. This is why many people feel restless, even when their lives are relatively stable. Gratitude gently interrupts this pattern. When you intentionally notice what is already working in your life, your attention begins to shift. You start seeing supportive people, small comforts, and quiet moments that normally pass unnoticed. This does not mean ignoring challenges. Instead, it means balancing the mind's natural negativity with a conscious awareness of what is already good and meaningful in the present moment. Can small moments really improve your mood? It may sound surprising, but small everyday moments can influence emotional well-being more than dramatic events. Many people believe happiness will arrive only when something big happens. A promotion, financial success, or a perfect relationship. Yet daily life is mostly made of ordinary experiences. Think about a peaceful morning when sunlight enters the room, or the quiet comfort of drinking a warm cup of tea after a long day. These moments may appear simple, but they carry a quiet form of satisfaction. Gratitude helps the mind slow down enough to notice them. When you pause and acknowledge these small comforts, your brain begins associating everyday life with calm and appreciation. Over time, this awareness builds emotional stability. Instead of waiting for rare moments of excitement, you start recognizing that many peaceful experiences already exist around you. Gratitude turns the ordinary into something meaningful, reminding you that contentment often hides inside simple daily routines. Why do comparisons steal our sense of peace? In modern life, comparison has become extremely common. Social media shows endless images of success, travel, achievements, and carefully edited moments of happiness. When people scroll through these images, the mind begins to measure personal life against someone else's highlights. Suddenly, normal routines feel less exciting. A simple evening at home may appear boring compared to someone else's exciting adventure. Gratitude helps protect the mind from this trap. Instead of focusing on someone else's life, it brings attention back to your own experiences. The goal is not to compete with the world, but to understand the value already present in your day. When you recognize small comforts, relationships, and personal progress, comparison loses its power. Life becomes less about keeping up with others and more about appreciating what is already meaningful. Gratitude gently reminds you that peace does not come from having the most impressive life, but from noticing the value within your own. Is gratitude only for perfect situations? Many people believe gratitude should appear only when life feels easy. They imagine thankfulness as a response to success, comfort, or good luck. But true gratitude works differently. It does not require a perfect situation. Instead, it offers emotional strength during imperfect times. Life naturally includes uncertainty, stress, and difficult moments. When challenges appear, the mind can easily become overwhelmed by frustration. Gratitude creates balance during these moments. Even in a difficult period, there are usually small things that remain supportive. A caring friend, a quiet moment to breathe, or the simple stability of a daily routine can become reminders that not everything is lost. Recognizing these small anchors helps the mind stay grounded. Gratitude does not remove problems, but it changes how you experience them. It reminds you that even during hard seasons of life, there are still pieces of comfort and support quietly surrounding you. How does gratitude change your thinking? Gratitude works like a mental training exercise. Just as the body becomes stronger through repeated movement, the mind becomes calmer through repeated attention to positive details. When you practice noticing things you appreciate, your brain slowly becomes more skilled at finding them. At first, this shift may feel unusual. The mind may still return to worries or complaints. But with consistent practice, gratitude begins shaping your daily perspective. Instead of immediately noticing what is wrong, you start recognizing what is stable and supportive. This mental shift creates emotional resilience. When stressful events occur, your mind already has a habit of searching for balance and perspective. Gratitude does not deny reality. It simply expands awareness so the mind can see both difficulty and support at the same time. Over time, this balanced thinking creates a deeper sense of calm and stability within everyday life. Why do ordinary routines hide unexpected beauty? Daily routines sometimes feel repetitive or predictable. Waking up, working, eating, resting. The pattern may seem ordinary or even boring. Because these moments happen frequently, the mind often stops paying attention to them. Yet many peaceful experiences exist inside these routines. The sound of morning quiet, the comfort of familiar surroundings, or the simple satisfaction of completing small tasks can all create subtle feelings of stability. Gratitude helps reveal these hidden details. When you slow down and notice them, routines begin to feel less empty and more meaningful. Instead of rushing through the day, you begin observing the small rhythms that support your life. This awareness transforms routine from something dull into something grounding. Gratitude reminds us that a calm, stable routine is actually a valuable gift. Many people spend years chasing excitement while overlooking the quiet beauty that already exists within their everyday schedule. How can writing gratitude train the mind? One simple tool for developing gratitude is journaling. Gratitude journaling means writing down a few things you appreciate each day. The idea is not to create dramatic or impressive lists. Instead, the focus is on noticing small, honest experiences. You might write about a pleasant conversation, a moment of rest, or the comfort of a familiar place. Writing these observations helps the brain remember them more clearly. Over time, this practice trains your attention. The mind begins searching for moments worth writing down later. This naturally increases awareness of positive experiences during the day. Gratitude journaling also slows the mind down. Instead of rushing from one task to another, you pause and reflect on what the day actually offered. This quiet reflection builds a habit of appreciation. Gradually, the mind learns to recognize that even ordinary days contain meaningful experiences worth remembering. What does it mean to find enough? Modern culture often teaches people to chase more. More success, more recognition, more possessions, more achievements. While growth and ambition can be positive, constant pursuit sometimes creates a feeling that nothing is ever sufficient. Gratitude introduces a different idea, the concept of enough. Finding enough does not mean giving up on goals or progress. Instead, it means recognizing that your current life already contains valuable elements. When you notice what is already sufficient, the pressure to constantly prove yourself begins to relax. You still move forward, but the journey feels calmer and more balanced. Gratitude reminds the mind that peace is not always waiting in the future. Sometimes it exists quietly in the present moment. When people learn to recognize enoughness, they experience a deeper sense of emotional stability. Life becomes less about endless chasing and more about appreciating the ground beneath their feet. Can gratitude reduce stress in daily life? Stress often grows when the mind constantly scans for problems, deadlines, and uncertainties. When attention focuses only on pressure, the body begins to feel tense and restless. Gratitude offers a simple but powerful interruption to this cycle. When you pause to notice something positive, even briefly, your nervous system receives a signal that not everything is dangerous or urgent. This small shift can create moments of emotional breathing space. Over time, regularly practicing gratitude reduces the intensity of daily stress. Instead of feeling trapped in endless responsibility, you start noticing supportive details around you. Perhaps a quiet evening, a supportive message, or the simple fact that you made progress during the day. These small recognitions remind the mind that life contains both challenges and comfort. Gratitude does not remove pressure completely, but it creates balance so stress no longer dominates every moment of awareness. Why do people overlook simple comforts? Simple comforts often disappear from awareness because they are familiar. When something becomes part of everyday life, the mind stops noticing it clearly. For example, many people rarely think about the comfort of their home, the stability of a routine, or the presence of supportive people. These experiences feel normal, so attention moves elsewhere. Unfortunately, the mind usually notices these comforts only when they disappear. Gratitude helps reverse this pattern. Instead of waiting for loss to create appreciation, you consciously acknowledge these quiet supports while they are still present. When you begin noticing them regularly, everyday life starts feeling richer and more meaningful. Gratitude trains your attention to see stability as something valuable, not something boring. Over time, this awareness builds emotional warmth toward the ordinary parts of life that quietly support your well-being every single day. How does gratitude protect emotional balance? Emotional balance depends largely on where attention goes. If the mind constantly focuses on problems, frustration becomes the dominant feeling. But when attention includes moments of appreciation, emotional experience becomes more balanced. Gratitude acts like a stabilizing force. It reminds the mind that even during busy or stressful days, supportive elements still exist. This awareness prevents the mind from falling completely into negativity. Instead, it creates a wider emotional perspective. Challenges remain real, but they are no longer the entire story. Gratitude helps the mind hold both truth and hope at the same time. This balance builds resilience, allowing people to move through difficulties without feeling completely overwhelmed. Emotional stability does not mean ignoring problems. It means remembering that life also contains moments of support, kindness, and quiet peace that deserve attention as well. Can gratitude strengthen relationships? Gratitude naturally improves the way people experience relationships. When appreciation becomes part of daily thinking, you begin noticing the efforts and kindness of others more clearly. A supportive message, a helpful gesture, or simply someone listening carefully can suddenly feel more meaningful. When people express appreciation, relationships often grow stronger. Feeling valued encourages trust and connection. Gratitude also reduces the habit of focusing only on mistakes or disappointments within relationships. Instead of expecting perfection, appreciation highlights what is already working. This perspective creates emotional warmth and patience. Relationships become less about criticism and more about understanding. Gratitude reminds us that people do not need to be perfect to be meaningful in our lives. Recognizing small acts of kindness helps relationships feel deeper and more supportive, strengthening the sense of human connection that everyone needs. Why does appreciating the present moment matter? Many people spend large portions of life thinking about the future. Goals, plans, ambitions, and expectations fill the mind with possibilities. While planning is useful, constant focus on the future sometimes causes people to overlook the present moment completely. Gratitude gently brings attention back to what is happening right now. When you appreciate the present, life stops feeling like a waiting room for future success. Instead, each day becomes part of the experience itself. You begin noticing details that once seemed invisible. The calm rhythm of your routine, the comfort of familiar surroundings, or the simple satisfaction of completing daily tasks. Appreciating the present moment creates a sense of grounded peace. It reminds you that life is not only something you prepare for, it is something you experience moment by moment within the ordinary rhythm of everyday living. What happens when gratitude becomes a daily habit? When gratitude becomes a consistent practice, something subtle but powerful begins to change. The mind slowly shifts from constant dissatisfaction toward quiet appreciation. Life may not become perfect, but the experience of living becomes lighter and more peaceful. You begin recognizing beauty in places that once felt ordinary. Stress loses some of its control because your attention now includes moments of calm and support. Gratitude also strengthens emotional resilience, helping you move through difficult periods with greater balance. Over time, the simple act of noticing what is already present creates a deep sense of contentment. Instead of endlessly chasing the next achievement, you learn to value the present chapter of life. Gratitude reminds us that happiness is not always hidden in the future. Often, it already exists in small moments, waiting patiently for our attention to finally notice it. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the next lesson. Your support means so much. It keeps this space alive and growing. With love, thank you for being here, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you.